This is First Class Hannam. Now you'll get to know more about us. This is our brand story. Public diplomacy refers to diplomatic activities conducted by the state, either directly or in cooperation with local governments and the private sector, aimed at enhancing foreign nations' understanding and trust in the nation through culture, knowledge, policies, and other means. Public diplomacy is thus crucial to enhancing a nation's position as a major power in the global stage. Public diplomacy emphasizes nationalism of each country. However, from the perspective of the United Nations, which pursues peace, there is a high possibility that it will lean toward ultranationalism. And in the era of globalism, the ultranationalism not only puts the nation in harm's way, but also isolates people from the international community. Our core value is internationalism. Our mission: we develop the next generation of first-class diplomats who can make the country more notable, make the world more peaceful with internationalism. Hannam-dong Yongsan-gu, Seoul, South Korea is an area with many embassies from around the world and is close to the international city of Itaewon, making it a global cosmopolitan city where many foreigners, including diplomats and embassy staffs, reside. First Class Hannam brand's signature program, which targets elementary and middle school students in the region Hannam-dong, includes its core subjects such as world history, world geography, world art history, international law, philosophy, leadership, Model UN, mock trial, and English, which ultimately aims to foster junior diplomat talents. Understanding world history from a geopolitical perspective allows us to view the backstory of the news, the history of war and disputes, and the nature of historical issues from a macroscopic perspective, combining elements of the world's geographic environment. First Class Hannam teaches both world history and geography as the core subjects of junior diplomat school. And we strongly recommend that the government of each nation include these subjects in its foreign service exam. A nation's diplomacy should be carried out consistently based on clear diplomatic philosophy and principles in the long run. A diplomatic strategy is based on the philosophy, ideology, values, and historical views of the nation. Thus, philosophical thinking skills are essential for diplomats. Diplomats should know their nation's diplomatic philosophy. Diplomats should have the ability to analyze the political and diplomatic philosophies of the other nations. First Class Hannam shows students aged 10 to 15 that philosophy is not a boring, dull, or difficult subject. First Class Hannam helps students aged 10 to 12 develop critical thinking skills and Socratic dialogue. First Class Hannam helps students aged 13 to 15 develop the right values so that they can thoroughly build the fundamentals of diplomatic philosophy as the next generation of first-class diplomats. This is our junior law school program, which separates international law from the core subjects of First Class Hannam Junior Diplomat School, and teaches using the textbooks written by international law experts. An attorney means the one appointed to represent another's interests. A diplomat is an attorney who represents his nation's interests. Thus, diplomats must have basic knowledge, including legal principles and systems, as well as domestic law for the protection of citizens in the foreign country to which they are dispatched, and the international law essential to foreign affairs. However, developing the next generation of first-class diplomats and judges who will work at the Permanent Court of Arbitration and the International Court of Justice located in The Hague, Netherlands, is not something that can be accomplished overnight. It requires mid to long-term efforts, and it is directly related to the national and diplomatic power. First Class Hannam teaches the international law to students aged 10 to 15 as a core subject of junior diplomat school and junior law school. First Class Hannam Junior Law School is the first law school in South Korea for juniors aged 10 to 15, focusing on international law taught in English. First class Hannam Junior Law School coaches teach junior students to cultivate knowledge about the essential concepts and values of democracy, such as justice, freedom, and equality, including the necessity of international law. Through this program, students can grow into junior diplomat talents with the basic knowledge of international law and law-abiding spirit. And furthermore, they can also choose a career as a lawyer by going to law school. The Junior Diplomat Talent Development Project has a total of 4 categories: Basic, cultivating basic legal knowledge; Advanced, improving literacy in international law; Junior Pro, cultivating specialized knowledge in international law; and Law School Prep, cultivating specialized knowledge in preparation for law school. These people are our international law coaches. Scott is a former Deputy Chief Prosecutor of the Ministry of Justice and has experience working as a judge at the PCA in The Hague, Netherlands. He will teach at the junior professional level. Sam is currently a professor at KAIST and is writing an international law textbook. So why should the age of students taking first-class Hannam classes be between 10 and 15 years old? Here are the reasons. Dr. Groh emphasized that one of the most important things that 10-year-olds are trying to develop is more autonomy. They can take on more responsibility, including tackling more things independently, like schoolwork, and using their time wisely. It is important to support their emerging autonomy by letting them take on new challenges when appropriate. Developmental psychologist Dr. Eliza Pressman advised to engage your 10-year-old in their critical thinking skills. At this age, they can contribute their ideas to solutions, and they can come up with a roadmap for things they want to do. Our core subjects selected for training junior diplomat talents are world history, world geography, law, philosophy, model UN, mock trial, and leadership. These subjects must be studied consistently at least for 3 to 5 years, just like learning basic formulas in math and science to build a solid foundation as a future first-class diplomat. And there is absolutely no time to study them during high school if students first encounter these subjects after entering university. They will already be left behind on the global stage. So the best option is to learn them during the 10 to 15-year-old period, free from college entrance exams and when they have relatively more time. We focus on audio-visual classes in order to stimulate and maintain the interest of students aged 10 to 15 who are new to the core subjects essential to building a solid foundation to become first-class diplomats. We lead a paradigm shift in the education on diplomat training and international law from adults to preteens and teenagers. We lead a paradigm shift in education. First-class Hannam, first-class diplomats. The background music you are listening to now is Flying, performed by Steve Bearcat. The contents of the first-class Hannam brand profile introduced today are registered with the Korea Copyright Commission. So, we inform you that the copyright belongs to first-class Hannam and unauthorized reproduction is prohibited without the permission of the copyright owner, founder, and representative Sophie Kang. Here is our contact information, and thank you. This was First Class Hannam.